Hey, what's going on, guys? It's TBNR Frags, aka Preston here, bringing you guys something a little bit different today. It is a 75 and 5 6v6 TDM Moab, and I know you guys are probably right now thinking, what? 75 kills in TDM? Does that mean you got all the kills by yourself, Preston? Yes, it does. I got all the kills by myself, but I can't take all the credits. I had an awesome party of teammates. They all said that they would go hide in corners and set up UAV jammers or scramblers, whichever you prefer to call them, and let me go ahead and go for the kills and try to get the Moab, as well as going completely flawless. And now, this is really kind of hard to do because it's a 1-on-6 situation, the entire game. And not only that, but I have to get 75 kills within 10 minutes before the game the game timer runs out. So I was trying to be aggressive, but at the same time not be aggressive, if that makes any sense, because, I want them to come to me, but I think that towards the middle of the game, they started to kind of catch on that it was 1-on-6 and that my teammates were hiding, so it was getting increasingly, more difficult for me, and, getting up to my specialist bonus was not easy when I'm trying to do it alone, but I managed to do it, and I pull off one Moab and actually failed the second one. I actually think I died like 2 or 3 kills off the second Moab, which is kind of unfortunate. It would have been really cool to have a double Moab in TDM, but I'm not stressed about that yet. So already we got 10 kills out of the way in 1 minute. I'm doing pretty good on time here, and I'm still trying to play pretty aggressive, and picking up my specialist bonus fairly quick here. And you can see I am using the MP7. I know you guys are just going to have to forgive me, but I haven't uploaded an MP7 gameplay in I think like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even longer than that. So hopefully you guys can forgive me and move on. But when you're going 1-on-6, you want to pick the best perks, the best gun. You guys should applaud me for not using FMG9 Akimbos. I believe I was using MP7, dual attachment proficiency, had silencer, rapid fire. I think my secondary was the MP9 with extended mags, and then my perks, I started out with scavenger, hardline. Third perk was probably dead silence, and then you can see my first perks right here, sleight of hand, steady aim, and marksman. And marksman usually is not the best choice, but in this map I actually really like marksman. It seems like to me the bodies kind of blend in, with the map and the surroundings, so marksman really helps me out, and I tried using that as much as I could to my advantage, but it really didn't work out a whole lot on this map. So if you want to, you could substitute the third perk for something a little bit more, crafty, like assassin would have been a really good perk to do for a 1-on-6, and this is just kind of like a general thing you guys might want to try to do if you're playing on Xbox, PS3, or PC. And if you have really nice teammates like I did, who are willing to go sit in the corner while you basically just get all the kills. So anyways, now, while this is really difficult to do, it was a ton of fun, and I want to keep trying. I actually ended up getting 2 75 and 5s in TDM, so I was getting really close to trying to get 75 and 0. I think I might have gotten a 75 and 4 as well, but hopefully eventually I'll be able to do this and pull off the flawless TDM. That would be pretty freaking awesome. But recently I've been having some nostalgia in Call of Duty, and I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty 1 and Call of Duty 2 and Call of Duty 4 on the PC, and a lot of you guys might be like, Preston, are those games even any good right now? Like, I mean, they're really old games. Call of Duty 1 came out in 2003. It's almost 10 years old. That is a really old game. And Call of Duty 2 actually came out in 2005 because, it seems like Infinity Ward always comes out with games every 2 years for their Call of Duty series, and then Treyarch comes out, in the middle gap. So a new Call of Duty is released every year, which is pretty cool. But I feel like, they're not putting as much time and effort into their games as they used to be. Whoa. Epic voice crack right there. So there's the first Moab right there. Pretty quick. I think that was about a that was actually a 3-minute Moab, or 3-minute and 15-second Moab. So not that quick, but, fairly quick. And I was really sure that after this, after I got this Moab, that I was going to be able to go flawless and get the or not flawless, but go 75 and 1 and try to pull off my best gameplay. But, unfortunately that wasn't happening. And they were typing right here. They're like 75 and 1 or go for the double. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to go to try for the 75 and 1. I think that'd be a cooler gameplay than the the double TDM Moab, but I'll let you guys go ahead and see what happens. So anyways, like I said, and then Call of Duty 4 came out in 2007, and the thing I loved about Call of Duty is that I could play them on the PC, right? So when Call of Duty 4 came out, I got that game, had so much fun with it. I played, in the public servers. There was no mods, no competitions, there were no hacks. It was just a regular game, and it was loads of fun. I had so much fun playing it, and I got to do that for like 3 months, and then all of a sudden, the competition mods came out, and if you guys don't know what competition mods are, basically it allows you to play the game in a a competitive format. So they take away like the noob tubes in Call of Duty 4, which weren't even that bad, but they were not very good for competitive settings. They took out like stun grenades, they took out a lot of guns, they left some things in there, and then they started to have like different versions of competitive mods. But anyways, that is really confusing, and I won't go into that in this video. I'll wait and do that in another one. But that was my favorite thing to do. I got to play the game, experience it in normal, just having fun. And then, later down on the road, I could play it competitively, which was freaking awesome. So, I got to do all this in COD 4. And then eventually, I played so much COD 4, I'd saturated myself in that game that I decided it was time to switch it up. So, I went out to the store and I bought Call of Duty 1. And you guys might be like, Preston, Call of Duty 1, does that even exist? Yes, it does. And a lot of people ask me this. They're like, is Call of Duty 1 even multiplayer? Yeah, it is. Call of Duty 1, like I said, came out in November 2003. So it is a really, really old game. But it was probably one of the best FPSs I think I've ever played. It is like $5 at Walmart. And it is probably the best $5 I have ever spent on a video game. I'm not even lying, guys. I have had so much fun with that game. Now, it's a lot different compared to, like, Call of Duty 4 or, like, the modern Call of Duties. It's much slower paced. I only got to play it, like, in the competitive side because I kind of got to it a few years late, unfortunately. But nonetheless, the game was still really, really fun. And it had two different kind of competitive modes. It had, like, a mode with rifles only and then another mode with all weapons. So you could use, like, the machine guns and everything like that, the pistols and grenades and stuff like that. But then in the rifles option, they had only the Kar 98K, which was a rifle, and the Mosin Nagant. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly, but those are the two rifles you could use. And I just played that for so long. I just had so much fun with it back when I was like 12 or 13. I played the crap out of that game, and it really never got old. But like I was saying, like the rounds were long. Like in Call of Duty 4 competitive mods, the newest mod is called Pro Mod, and it's been out for a long time, and it's basically taken over the competitive mod scene, and it's a really, really good mod, and I love them. They're really nice. They talk to everybody, and they take input from the competitive gamers and ask them what they would like to see in the next competitive version, because they go by versions, like Pro Mod, I think they had Pro Mod 1, and then it turned out to like Pro Mod 2.04, then 2.05, etc., etc. Now it's like Pro Mod 2.12, so it's pretty far up in there. They've had a lot of different versions. But let me catch my breath for a second. I've been talking really fast. I know you guys sometimes get stressed out by how fast I talk, and right now I just need to take a breath. Okay. Alright, so right now they're apparently calling me a hacker in this game, which is not very cool. I don't know why they would even think I'm hacking, and I think they cycled the players, and what I mean by that is I think that we've already had all the players from the beginning of this game leave and then fill up with all brand new players, which is kind of funny. So anyways, like I was saying, the rounds in Call of Duty 4 are 1 minute and 45 seconds, plus you had sprint in Call of Duty 4. So the rounds in that game were super quick. They averaged about maybe 1 minute, and then in Call of Duty 1, you had to be much more patient. There was no sprint in that game, so everybody was just walking. They didn't have knifing. It was only bashes. So there was like huge variables in the game going around. So every time you switch, it take you a little bit to get used to it. But if you guys could find Call of Duty 1 for a good price, or heck, it's even on Steam for $20, I would definitely say give it a go. It is probably the best game I have ever played to date. Even though it's the first Call of Duty ever, I think it was probably their best, and I will always have a special place in my heart for that game. Like, I really will. And don't get me wrong, I love Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2. They were awesome games, but they just didn't really allow for competitive play. They didn't have dedicated servers, and some of you guys out there might not know what dedicated servers are, and dedicated servers are actually a server that's it's dedicated. So you guys know that like there's hosts in Call of Duty. So sometimes you'll get a host and you're like, oh man, this host is in Europe and I'm American. Why would that happen? And you have 2 bars or 3 bars, so you back out. Well, on dedicated servers, let's say a server's in Chicago and it's dedicated right there. There's absolutely like no lag as long as you live in a pretty decent like radius around it. Like I live in Texas and I get 50 ping to a Chicago server, around something like that. And basically if you have like anywhere 100 ping and under, you're good to go. Like you have no lag and it's just enjoyable for everyone. So they had dedicated servers all over the place. They have them in Europe, they have them in America, tons of other different countries, and they have like the dedicated servers could be in California in America, they could be in Texas, Chicago. So they had them in like really good locations to where everybody could connect to them. And on these dedicated servers, then people would buy servers, and there was a server browser. So everybody would browse through the servers they would want to play on, and they could see how many players were in there, what kind of game mode it was, if it had, anti-cheat on there. There was just so many variables, and that's what made the game awesome, is that you had so much customization that it just blew your mind, and you could have fun for days. Like, there'd be people that would be making competitive. They had like Alien versus Predator mods. Okay, like sometimes I guess I gotta show you guys some of these mods, but they were just awesome and so much fun. And I thought I would just kind of share and reminisce with these games, you know, from back in the day. So anyways, I know this gameplay was kind of, you know, thrown together, and I used the MP7, but I would really appreciate it, guys, if we could break out 2,000 likes again like we did in the last video. It was freaking awesome. You know, I checked the video the next morning and I saw 2,000 likes. I was like, what? That is crazy. Of course, you guys don't have to if you don't want to, but so there's the final score, 75-5. Big shout out to Ramstage, Shrimp Potato Miss, Slaggle 30.06, and Deathwings for helping me. And you know, hopefully maybe we can do this more in the future and get the 75-0 TDM gameplay. That would be really awesome. So anyways, hope you guys have a wonderful and safe day. If you want to, you can check out the other videos below. I've got a Magnum only Moab in the bottom left corner, and then on the bottom right hand corner I'll leave a surprise video. Anyways, see you guys later. I'll see you in other videos and live streams. Have a great day.